The morning Rebecca died, I was reading the newspaper. My granddaughter was supposed to be helping me sort through estate paperwork that afternoon. I'd married Rebecca 42 years ago in a small chapel in Asheville, North Carolina. She'd worn her mother's pearl necklace and carried wildflowers from the Blue Ridge Mountains. We'd built a life together that felt impossibly simple and impossibly complete. We never had children of our own. But when my brother David died in a car accident 7 years ago, his daughter Melissa became ours in every way that mattered. Melissa was 26 then, lost, grieving. Rebecca opened our home without hesitation. We helped her finish graduate school, celebrated when she landed her first real job as a financial analyst, watched her transform from a broken young woman into someone confident and capable. She started calling our house on Magnolia Street her home. She kept a bedroom here. Sunday dinners became sacred. Rebecca died on a Thursday. Pancreatic cancer. 6 months from diagnosis to the end, and even with all that time to prepare, I wasn't ready. The funeral was on Saturday. The church was standing room only. Rebecca had taught piano lessons for 30 years. Every student she'd ever had seemed to be there. Melissa sat beside me in the front pew, holding my hand. She'd arranged everything, the flowers, the program, the reception afterward at our house. She'd sorted through Rebecca's closet to find the blue dress Rebecca had always said she wanted to be buried in. She handled details I couldn't even think about. "I've got you, Grandpa," she whispered during the service. "You don't have to worry about anything." I squeezed her hand and thought about how proud Rebecca would be. How she'd always said Melissa was a blessing we never knew we needed. The next 3 days blurred together. People brought casseroles I didn't eat. Cards arrived in the mail with words that meant well, but couldn't touch the emptiness. I wandered through our house, Rebecca's presence everywhere. Her reading glasses on the side table, her coffee mug in the sink, the piano in the living room that nobody would ever play quite the same way. Melissa checked on me twice a day, brought groceries, helped me figure out which bills needed paying. She'd taken a week off work, she said, to make sure I was okay. On Tuesday morning, exactly 5 days after Rebecca's funeral, my phone rang at 7:30. I almost didn't answer. I'd been avoiding calls, letting them go to voicemail, not ready for another round of condolences. But something made me pick up. "Mr. Brennan? This is Victor Kowalski. I'm Rebecca's estate attorney." I sat down at the kitchen table. "Yes, I remember. We met briefly after the funeral. I apologize for calling so early." His voice was careful. "But I need to see you today, this morning, if possible. In person. Is something wrong with the will?" There was a pause. "I'd prefer to discuss this face-to-face. Can you come to my office? Say, 9 o'clock? I looked around the empty kitchen. I had nowhere else to be. "I suppose so." "Good. And Mr. Brennan?" Another pause, longer this time. "Please don't mention this call to anyone. Not yet. I'll explain when you get here." The line went dead before I could ask what he meant. Victor's office was in downtown Asheville, in one of those old buildings on Patton Avenue with crown molding and creaky hardwood floors. The receptionist led me to a conference room overlooking the street. Victor was already there, a man in his mid-50s with silver hair and reading glasses perched on his nose. He stood when I entered. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Brennan." He gestured to a chair. "Can I get you coffee? Water?" "I'm fine." I sat down, studying his face. He looked tired, worried. "What's this about?" He closed the door, then sat across from me. Between us on the table was a thick manila folder. "I've been Rebecca's attorney for 15 years, he began. "She trusted me with everything, her will, her financial planning, her business records, from when she ran the piano studio as an LLC. He touched the folder, but didn't open it. About 4 months ago, she came to see me. She was concerned about some irregularities she'd noticed. My chest tightened. What kind of irregularities? Financial ones. Rebecca was meticulous about her accounts. You know that. She balanced her checkbook to the penny every month. I nodded. It was true. Rebecca had been the organized one in our marriage. She started noticing small discrepancies. A withdrawal here that she didn't remember making. A transfer there to an account she didn't recognize. At first, she thought it was her mistake. The cancer diagnosis had just come, and she wondered if the stress was affecting her memory. But it wasn't her mistake. No. Victor opened the folder. Inside were bank statements, highlighted in yellow. She asked me to investigate quietly. She didn't want to alarm you while you were both dealing with her diagnosis. She thought maybe it was identity theft, something we could handle discreetly. He slid the first page toward me. It was a statement from our joint checking account. 3 withdrawals, each for $500, marked in yellow. These were made at an ATM on Tunnel Road, Victor said. Rebecca didn't make them. You didn't make them. But someone with access to your ATM card did. I stared at the dates. January, February, March. I don't understand. Our cards were never stolen. No. But someone close to you would know where you kept them. Someone who'd been in your house many times. Someone you trusted completely. The room suddenly felt very cold. Victor pulled out more statements. It started small. ATM withdrawals. Then it escalated. Transfers to a Venmo account. Online purchases that were immediately refunded to a different account. Checks written for household expenses that never went to any household vendor. How much are we talking about? Over the past 18 months? He met my eyes. $63,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. I gripped the edge of the table. 63,000? Rebecca discovered most of this in her last month. She was going through everything, putting her affairs in order. That's when she realized how extensive it was. She documented everything, traced every transaction. And then she found this. He pulled out a printout of an Instagram account. The profile picture showed a young woman I recognized immediately. Melissa. But the photos below were nothing I'd ever seen. Melissa in Las Vegas. Melissa at expensive restaurants. Melissa wearing designer clothes I knew she couldn't afford on her analyst salary. Melissa with a man I'd never met, both of them laughing on what looked like a yacht. The timestamps on the photos matched the dates of the withdrawals. Rebecca hired a private investigator. Victor continued quietly. She had to know for sure. She had to know if. He trailed off, then started again. The investigator confirmed that Melissa has a gambling problem. Online poker, mostly. Some sports betting. She's been losing steadily for 2 years. She's approximately $90,000 in debt to various creditors and at least one loan shark. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. The man in the photos is Marcus Shepard. He introduced her to high-stakes gambling. He's currently under investigation for fraud in 3 states. Melissa has been using your money to try to dig herself out of the hole. But she keeps gambling, and the hole keeps getting deeper. I looked at the photos again. Melissa's smile in the pictures looked manic, desperate. Nothing like the granddaughter who'd held my hand at the funeral. Why didn't Rebecca tell me? Victor's expression softened. She wanted to. But she was dying, Mr. Brennan. She had maybe 6 weeks left when she figured this out. She spent her last days deciding what to do. She didn't want to burden you with this while you were watching her die. She thought maybe Melissa would stop after she was gone. Maybe it was just a phase. He pulled out a sealed envelope. My name was written on it in Rebecca's handwriting. She left this for you. She wanted you to have it after the funeral, once you'd had time to grieve. She made me promise to give you the evidence first, and then this letter. My hands shook as I took the envelope. I turned it over, not ready to open it. There's one more thing, Victor said. Rebecca changed her will 3 weeks before she died. She left you everything, as expected, but she added a codicil. Melissa gets nothing, not $1. And there's a provision that if you choose to contest this decision and give Melissa money anyway, it all goes to charity instead. She cut her out completely? Rebecca wanted to protect you. She was afraid Melissa would drain everything after she was gone. This way, legally, you can't give Melissa access to the estate, even if she manipulates you into wanting to. I sat there, holding Rebecca's letter, staring at the evidence of my granddaughter's betrayal, and I felt something inside me crack. Not break, crack. The kind of damage that would never fully heal. What should I do? Victor folded his hands. That's not my decision, but I'll tell you what Rebecca told me. She said, Melissa needs help, not money. If Thomas tries to help her with money, He'll only enable her to destroy herself faster. She wanted you to know the truth, so you could make an informed choice. I opened the envelope. Rebecca's handwriting was shaky. She'd written this near the end, when even holding a pen was difficult. My dearest Thomas, if you're reading this, then Victor has shown you what I found. I'm so sorry, my love. I'm sorry you have to know this. I'm sorry I couldn't fix it before I left you. Melissa is sick, not with cancer like me, but with addiction. It's just as deadly if we don't face it. I've watched her spiral for months, and I've been too afraid to tell you. I kept thinking she'd stop. I kept thinking the next time I checked the accounts, everything would be back to normal. It never was. I know you love her. I love her too. She's David's daughter, and when we took her in, we promised to care for her. But caring for someone doesn't mean protecting them from consequences. It means loving them enough to let them face the truth. Don't give her money. She'll only gamble it away. Don't bail her out. She'll only sink deeper. What she needs is treatment, accountability, and a reason to change. I'm sorry. I'm leaving you to handle this alone. I wanted more time. I wanted to see her get better. But time ran out on me. Trust Victor. Trust the evidence. And most importantly, trust yourself. You'll know what to do. All my love, Rebecca. I read it 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it back in the envelope. She's coming over this afternoon, I said quietly. Melissa, she said she wanted to help me go through Rebecca's things, decide what to keep and what to donate. Victor's jaw tightened. She's been in the house regularly since Rebecca died? Every day. Mr. Brennan, you need to check your valuables. Rebecca's jewelry. Any cash you keep in the house. Check it now. I drove home in a daze. Our house on Magnolia Street looked the same as always. White clapboard siding, Rebecca's roses in the front garden, though they were looking scraggly now with no one to tend them. The piano visible through the front window. I went straight to our bedroom. To Rebecca's jewelry box on the dresser. It was lighter than it should have been. I opened it. The everyday pieces were there. The costume jewelry Rebecca wore for teaching. But her mother's pearl necklace, the one she'd worn at our wedding, was gone. Her diamond earrings, an anniversary gift, were gone. The antique brooch that had belonged to my grandmother, which we'd promised would go to Melissa someday, was gone. I sat on the bed, holding the empty jewelry box, and something inside me shifted from cracked to broken. Melissa arrived at 2 o'clock, carrying takeout from my favorite barbecue place. I thought you might not be eating, she said, smiling that bright smile I'd always trusted. So I brought lunch. I took the bag, set it on the kitchen counter, didn't open it. She looked at me more closely. Grandpa, are you okay? You look pale. Sit down, Melissa. Something in my voice made her freeze. What's wrong? Sit. Down. She sat at the kitchen table, in the same chair Rebecca used to sit in for breakfast. The wrongness of it made my stomach turn. I pulled out the folder Victor had given me, placed it on the table between us. I met with Rebecca's estate attorney this morning. Her face went carefully blank. Oh? He showed me some things, some irregularities in our accounts. I opened the folder. $63,000 worth of irregularities over the past 18 months. The color drained from her face. He also showed me your Instagram account, the one where you're living a lifestyle that doesn't match your salary, the one with Marcus Shepard, the one with the gambling. Grandpa, I can explain. Your grandmother knew. I said it quietly. She knew for months. She documented everything. She hired an investigator. She knew about the debt, about Marcus, about the online poker. She knew you'd been stealing from us. Melissa's eyes filled with tears. I was going to pay it back. I swear, I just needed to win a few hands, and I was going to pay it back with what? Your $90,000 in debt. She flinched. How do you? Rebecca knew everything. And she didn't tell me because she was dying, and she didn't want to burden me while I was losing her. My voice cracked. She protected you right up until the end. Even knowing what you'd done, she still protected you. I never meant to hurt her. I never meant... Where's her pearl necklace, Melissa? She went very still. The one from our wedding. The one you helped me choose what dress to bury her in. And you saw that necklace in the jewelry box. And you knew I'd never bury her in it because she was wearing the simple gold cross she always wore. Where is it? Tears streamed down her face. I pawned it. Last week, Marcus said I had to make a payment or they'd... I stood up. The chair scraped against the floor. Get out of my house. Grandpa, please. I'm sorry. I'll go to rehab. I'll get help. I'll get out. You don't understand. They'll hurt me if I don't pay. That's not my problem anymore. I walked to the front door, opened it. You made your choices. You stole from your grandmother while she was dying. You stole from me while I was grieving. You took the one physical thing that mattered most to me and pawned it for gambling money. She stood, desperate. I'm family. I'm all you have left. You stopped being family the first time you stole from us. I held the door. Leave your house key on the table. Grandpa, please. Now. She jumped. I'd never yelled at her before. Never raised my voice once in the 7 years she'd lived with us. She pulled the key from her purse with shaking hands. Set it on the table. I'll pay you back. I promise. I'll get clean and Victor showed me Rebecca's will. She cut you out completely. You get nothing. And even if I wanted to give you money, which I don't, I legally can't. Rebecca made sure of that. She protected me from making the mistake of enabling you further. Melissa's face crumpled. She hated me. No, I shook my head. She loved you. That's why she did it. Because giving you money would only help you kill yourself faster. What am I supposed to do? That's up to you. Get help. Don't get help. Keep gambling until Marcus's loan shark friends do whatever they do. I don't care anymore. You don't mean that. I met her eyes. I watched Rebecca die over 6 months. I held her hand. I slept in a chair next to her hospital bed. I said goodbye to my wife of 42 years. And the whole time, you were stealing from us. The whole time, you were looking me in the eye and asking if I needed anything while you were robbing us blind. I have a problem. Yes, you do. And it's your problem to solve, not mine. She stood there, crying, looking young and lost, and exactly like the broken girl who'd shown up at our door 7 years ago. But I couldn't let myself feel sympathy. Not anymore. Leave. She left. I closed the door behind her and locked it. Then I walked to the living room and sat at Rebecca's piano. I couldn't play like she could. I'd never had the talent. But I put my hands on the keys and pressed down, and the discordant sound that came out felt exactly right. That night, I called Victor. She's gone, I said. I told her to leave. How do you feel? I thought about it. Empty, but less empty than if I'd let her stay and keep lying. Rebecca would be proud of you. She shouldn't have had to handle this alone. She didn't want you to suffer more than you already were. Victor's voice was gentle. She was protecting you the only way she knew how. Over the next week, I changed all the locks. I closed our joint accounts and opened new ones in just my name. I filed a police report about the stolen jewelry, though I knew I'd never see those pieces again. The pawn shop had sold the pearl necklace the same day Melissa brought it in. I also called every gambling addiction hotline I could find, left messages with Melissa's name and number, sent information about treatment programs to her email. I couldn't save her, but I could at least give her the resources to save herself if she chose to. She never called, never texted. For 2 weeks, silence. Then one evening, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. A woman's voice, professional and kind. Mr. Brennan, this is Dr. Sarah Martinez from Summit Ridge Treatment Center in Georgia. I'm calling about Melissa Brennan. She listed you as her emergency contact. My heart stopped. Is she okay? She's fine. She checked herself in yesterday for a 90-day residential program for gambling addiction. She asked me to let you know. I sat down hard. She did? She said to tell you she pawned everything she owned to pay for the first month. She said to tell you she's sorry, and she understands if you never want to see her again, but she needed you to know she's trying. I closed my eyes. Thank you for calling. She also asked if you'd be willing to participate in family therapy sessions later in her treatment. No pressure. But she thinks it might help. Can I think about it? Of course. We'll be in touch. I hung up and sat in the quiet house. Rebecca's presence was everywhere still. Her books on the shelf, her favorite blanket on the couch, the piano that would never sound quite the same. I didn't know if I could forgive Melissa. I didn't know if our relationship could ever be repaired. But she was trying. That was something. That was more than I'd had yesterday. 2 months later, I got a letter. Melissa's handwriting, shaky but clear. Dear Grandpa, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to ever trust me again. I just need you to know that I'm 62 days sober from gambling. 62 days of facing what I did and why I did it. They tell us in therapy that addiction doesn't excuse our actions, that I made choices, terrible choices, that hurt people I loved. They tell us we have to own that before we can heal. So I'm owning it. I stole from you and Grandma Rebecca. I lied. I manipulated. I took advantage of your grief. I pawned Grandma's necklace, the one thing I knew mattered most, because my addiction mattered more to me than your pain. I can't undo any of that. I can't give you back the money or the jewelry or the trust. All I can do is promise that I'm working every single day to become someone who would never do those things again. Dr. Martinez said you haven't decided about family therapy yet. I understand. Whatever you decide, I'll respect it. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying, and that I finally understand what Grandma Rebecca was trying to do by cutting me out of the will. She was trying to save my life. I'm so sorry. For everything. Love, Melissa. I read the letter sitting at Rebecca's piano. Then I pulled out a piece of paper and wrote back, Dear Melissa, I'm proud of you for getting help. Your grandmother would be proud too. I'm not ready for family therapy yet. Maybe I will be someday. Maybe I won't. But I'm glad you're getting better. I can't give you money. I won't. Not ever. Rebecca was right about that. But I can give you this. When you finish your 90 days, if you stay clean, if you keep working your program, we can talk. Not about the past. About the future. About whether there's a version of our relationship that can exist in honesty. I don't know what that looks like yet. Neither do you. But we can find out together. Take care of yourself. Grandpa. I mailed it the next day. 3 months after that, Melissa graduated from the program. She called me from a halfway house in Atlanta, where she'd found a job as a bookkeeper for a nonprofit, making $9 an hour, living with 3 roommates, attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings 5 times a week. I'm not asking to come home, she said. I'm just calling to say I did it. 90 days. I'm proud of you. Her voice broke. Really? Really? Dr. Martinez said the first 90 days is just the beginning, that the real work is staying clean in the real world. She's right. I know I destroyed everything. I know you might never trust me again. Trust is earned, I said. You're earning it. Keep going. We talked for 20 minutes about her job, her roommates, her meetings. Not about the money, not about Rebecca, not about the stolen necklace. Small steps. That's what Dr. Martinez had told her. Small steps toward rebuilding. When we hung up, I sat at Rebecca's piano again. This time, I played the one song she'd taught me. A simple melody, nothing fancy, but I played it through without stopping, and it sounded almost right. It's been a year now. Melissa's still clean, still working her program. We talk on the phone every Sunday, short calls, safe topics. She's never asked for money, never asked to come back to Asheville. I went to one family therapy session. Just one. It was hard, painful. We both cried. But Dr. Martinez helped us talk about what happened without falling apart. I don't know if we'll ever have what we had before. That relationship is gone, destroyed by lies and addiction and broken trust. But maybe we can build something new, something honest, something smaller and more fragile, but real. Rebecca's pearl necklace is gone forever. I've made peace with that. But I found something else in her jewelry box last week. A small envelope tucked in the bottom that I'd never noticed before. Inside was a note in Rebecca's handwriting. Thomas, if you found this, it means I'm gone, and you've discovered what Melissa did. I know you're hurt. I know you're angry. I know you might never speak to her again, and I'd understand. But if she gets help, if she gets clean, if she tries to make amends, please give her a chance. Not for my sake, for yours. Because holding on to anger will eat you alive. And I don't want that for you. I want you to live the rest of your life with as much peace as you can find. Melissa is sick. What she did was wrong, but sick people can get better. Give her the space to try. I love you, always. Rebecca. I keep that note in my wallet now. Read it sometimes when the anger comes back. When I think about the $63,000, the stolen jewelry, the lies told while Rebecca was dying. And then I remember that Rebecca, even knowing everything, even cutting Melissa out of her will to protect me, still held out hope for redemption. So I do too. Not blindly, not stupidly, but hopefully, because that's what Rebecca would have wanted. And because some things, once broken, can't be fixed. But sometimes, if you're lucky, if everyone involved is willing to do the hard work, you can build something new from the pieces. It won't be what you had before, but it might be enough.